visuals coming in. There you can see the live visuals. Obviously, the big focus is the Indo-Japan Connect, a big boost to the bilateral ties. That is the Prime Minister shaking hands, as we showed you, with the Japanese counterpart. Very, very significant, obviously, as we were highlighting. The bilaterals, all eyes are going to be on the same. It is a big boost to the ties of both nations. This is visuals coming in from Hyderabad House. They are going to, explore, talk about AI, trade, bilateral ties, energy security, dollar dominance. That also obviously has been grabbing headlines. That also is going to feature in the talks. Again, one of the biggest, takeaways, something which entire country is watching out far as Indo-Pacific is concerned, what these bilaterals and talks will entail, especially with the China flexing its muscles. All of this is very, very significant, and we are obviously highlighting each and every update far as the deepening ties, this meeting is concerned. The meeting obviously is going to start. The bilaterals are going to start, I believe, any time now. These are, the customary pictures, the photo ops, which is happening at this point of time. But very, very significant visuals which are coming in. Akanksha joining us live on the broadcast. Akanksha, all eyes obviously on the bilaterals. Live visuals coming in from Hyderabad House. Take us through the visuals coming in and obviously, the takeaways of what we can expect from the bilaterals ahead.
Absolutely. In fact, these visuals also bear testimony to the personal capital that Prime Minister Modi has invested when it comes to the bilateral relationship that India shares with Japan. Of course, our ties are civilizational, and they go all the way back to even prior to, say, World War II, given Buddhism is, in fact, also what is traced back to India. But more importantly, if we were to contextualize it in today's day and age, we are also looking at how Prime Minister Modi's last visit to Japan in August of 2025 will now be looking to bear fruit of that visit, because back then, remember, Japan had in fact vowed to invest 10 trillion yen, and today we are being told, this was in fact a report also shared by Nikkei Asia, that India and Japan will be looking towards trade settlements in rupee and yen. And as far as our trade partnership is concerned, you can expect a host of MOUs, especially when it comes to fertilizers, semiconductors, critical minerals being the new gold. China has, of course, been mastering as far as critical minerals are concerned. It's been using it as a bargaining chip across the world. So India looking towards diversifying when it comes to our critical minerals partnership as well. More importantly, both these countries, whether it is Japan and India, we both have borne the brunt of the Trumpian tariffs. And so India and Japan now looking towards de-dollarizing by actually trading in rupee and yen as well. At the same time, defense cooperation is going to be on top of the agenda. Prime Minister Takaichi has already sounded how she's going to be focusing on the need for a free and open Indo-Pacific. India will also be standing to gain under our own vision of Mahasagar. Maritime security will, of course, also be gaining focus over here. But when it comes to defense industrial cooperation, we could be very much looking towards Japan when it comes to technology transfer. For the longest time, Japan was against technology transfer because ever since World War II, it had adopted a pacifist stance. But since Prime Minister Shinzo Abe arrived in Japan, he, of course, revamped the entire security apparatus and the security stance of Japan. Not only did he establish the National Security Council in 2014, it was in 2015 he also revised Japan's own principles of technology transfer. So India will basically be looking towards greater technology transfer coming from Japan, which could aid us in our development of, say, maritime security and as well as drones and air capabilities as well. We'll have to wait what the joint statement says, but it would be interesting to see how we build on this partnership when it comes to the Quad. At a time we heard the US President begin his bilateral with Prime Minister Modi with the mention of G2, which means United States and China. And we've already seen how the United States has abruptly rolled back from the Indo-Pacific U.S. command, that entire nomenclature. That seems to have rung alarm bells for other Quad partners, not just India, but also Australia and Japan. And so this triad has been looking towards engaging a lot more. Prime Minister Modi, as we all know, is headed to Australia next as well. The Australian Defence Minister was in the country just days ago. The Japanese Prime Minister had an engagement with the Australians in May this year, as recently as that.
You're right. So
yes,
at a time, yes, just to summarize for our viewers, you're right. At a time when the global order is undergoing one of the biggest realignments in decades, we have this type of a bilateral happening. Very, very significant. Akansha, thank you for joining us with all these updates. We'll keep coming back to you. Slipping into a short commercial break. News and updates on the other side. Please don't go anywhere.